welcome. I'm Jen Frost with Faith in Fabric, and it has been a long time since I've had the chance to get behind the camera and talk to you guys. So for this week's newsletter, this month's newsletter, I thought instead of just sending out an email with a lot of text, I would kind of sit down and have a little face-to-face chat with you, kind of give you an update on where things are and how things are going. There's a lot to catch you up on. So down below in the video description, I've put different sections. So you can skip ahead to something you want to find out, or you can go back and re-review an old section. I invite you to grab a cup of tea. I've got my favorite de-stress tea here. This is the one I love to drink. There's actually a link to it in the comments down below. Speaking of links in the comments, I got a ton of questions back about my necklace. Thank you guys for being so concerned. If you remember, I had gone with a friend to a little day spa for her 40th birthday, and I had put my necklace that I've had since college in the pocket of the robe, and it has not been found yet. But I did replace it with, one that's almost identical, just because I missed having it so much. I've had it, gosh, I can't even remember how long, probably since high school. So there is a link down below, because several of you guys had asked, what did it look like? So you can kind of get a closer view of it there. So grab your cup of tea and let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is the Illuminating crosses pattern. If you remember, this is the window that I just fell in love with when I saw it in a picture, in a photograph from a friend's wedding. Her daughter got married, and that window was just stunning. I saw the light coming through it, and I just needed to turn that into a quilt. I'm sure you guys have all had moments like that where you see a floor somewhere or a design on the side of a building and you just want to make a quilt out of it. So I had asked you, what are your thoughts on this? Do you see this as like a very large medallion quilt, one of these blocks, or do you really see this as multiple blocks? So I posed the question to you in our newsletter back in June, and I got several hundred replies. I think I got back to each of you individually. If I missed replying to you individually, I am so sorry. I am so thankful to you guys. I had no idea that we were gonna get so many responses. I wanted to show you how the results turned out. Let's get a drum roll. And here we go. So you guys like both. Oh my gosh. It was almost an even split, as you can see. And again, this is from several hundred responses. So I feel pretty fair in saying that when the pattern gets released, I will be trying to do a 2-in-1. So we will have the larger size. I'm still working on what those final measurements are going to be. Thank you to all of you who gave really thorough feedback comments too on what your ideal sizes were. I kind of want to go through those and really digest those comments because I want to make something you want, right? I mean, that's the whole point, is making something that we're all really happy with. There's no point in going through all that effort to create a pattern where it's like, oh, really not what I was thinking. So I want to try to find where that sweet, happy place was for the larger size as well as the smaller size. Now that said, it is going to take several months to do that because it is completely writing 2 full patterns. Even though the design is the same, the measurements of everything are going to be completely different. There's going to be some templates in this. So you've got the different size of templates, you've got the different sizes of all the pieces. So you figure that's twice as much testing, twice as much fabric. It's going to be twice as long of an effort. So I don't want to commit to when it's going to come out. My goal is by the end of the year. Fingers crossed that works out. So, you can gift yourself the pattern hopefully for Christmas. I'm really excited to get this one in the works. If you're part of our test team, thank you. Keep your eyes on your email in a few months before I have one of the 2 patterns out. And then we'll be letting you know which of the 2 that you've been asked to test to make sure it works. Obviously, we always like to get our patterns tested by at least 10 to 12 people before we release it to everybody else, just to make sure that what we're releasing is really the best thing that we can have out there. So that brings us to the next few months. So let's talk about the next few months. Now, my mother-in-law was a college professor, and after a certain number of years, it might have been 7, don't quote me on that, but after a certain number of years, she was eligible to take a sabbatical. Now, I have been doing Faith in Fabric. This is actually our 10-year anniversary. Thank you for those of you who have been here all 10 years. And I will be taking a sabbatical as well. Probably a good chunk of you who have been here for a few years remember, I want to say it was like 3 years ago-ish, maybe 4, we made this video in pattern that was for fibromyalgia quilt. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia in the fall of 2019, and it was a very long journey to get there. So it's actually 5 years now, and I'm very proud to say I've been able to get the symptoms honestly under control this past year. Now, it's a lifelong condition. It's not something that's ever going to go away. I have no false hope of that. But I also know that I've gotten really, really good at managing it, about turning that volume down. That's thanks to a class called Curable I took. I'll put a link to that below in case you're dealing with it or you know someone else who is. That was a real game changer for me. Now, in January, I got COVID, which is crazy because in my mind, there was no way I was gonna get it. You know, I was healthy and vaccinated and I did all the right things, but I got it. And to be honest with you, actually the acute infection that first week wasn't really that bad. It was like an annoying cold, but about a week and a half, 2 weeks in, unbeknownst to me, we didn't realize it at the time, but because fibro attacks my nervous system, it's a nervous system issue. It really served as a major complication for COVID. And so I'm still dealing with a ton of nervous system issues 7 months out. So my days anymore just feel like anything but routine. We never really know how well I'm going to be feeling. We never know how many doctor's appointments are coming up. I have all kinds of tests still on the books 7 months out that I have to go in for as we really try to assess what kind of damage I have to my nerves, to my heart. And so for me, I'm going to be taking the sabbatical as a time to just really get my health back on track. Like I said, I was doing so good over the past year, really managing it, and I just want to get back to that place where we've dealt with all the COVID, we've kind of gotten all the complications. It's really more the complications, right? Because you don't still have COVID, but all those complications out of the way, and then I'm better able to manage the fibro, which seems to have come back with a roaring vengeance now that it seems to have, you know, that little bit of COVID as a kick. The second part of my sabbatical is going to be readjusting to middle school. You guys, my son is starting middle school. I can't believe it. You know, there's that expression that they say, if you blink, you'll miss it. And I'm so excited to say I didn't blink and I didn't miss it. I have been so fortunate, so thankful to be able to be his mom, to have a job like this that lets me work from home, where I can be there for class trips and field days and events in his classroom. You know, we hybrid homeschool, so there's days where he's in school, there's days where he's home, and we have robe mornings and we have breakfast together every day, and then we go sit on the patio to get his schoolwork done. And I just am so thankful for this opportunity. I'm also aware he's getting older and his desire to probably sit in his robe and hang out with mom are a little bit more limited. So I really want to be there these next few years to really focus on our time together, knowing that that's a lot smaller, it's a lot more limited than than it was when he was maybe going into kindergarten and we felt we had all these school years ahead of us. So I'll be taking some time to also readjust to his new schedule, to what does that mean for us as a family, to just really taking all of that in stride and finding that new balance. The last piece of the puzzle I'll be working in is still working through my Spanish classes and teaching ESL. You know, I started teaching ESL classes here in San Diego back in January to individuals whose primary language was not English. And I thought I would enjoy it. I didn't realize how much I would love it. It has been something that has just filled my heart and soul in a way that I never, ever expected. Working with these families, with these individuals, and giving them basic literacy skills has just been such a gift. It's been wonderful. The majority of my class that I'm working with are actually all Spanish speakers from various regions down south. And so it's been great for me to be able to use my Spanish to teach them, and even for them to be able to teach me. And so we go back and forth, and it's just been this wonderful, wonderful relationship. So I am going to continue doing that going forward and continuing to carve time out of my schedule in order to be able to keep this as a priority. So what does this mean for Faith and Fabric? It means that we're still going to be here. I'm still going to be here. You guys are still going to be getting your newsletters from me. It may not be twice a month. Sometimes that might just be once a month if that's a month where things just seem to be a little bit heavier to manage here at home. But I will still be in contact with you. I'm still gonna try to connect through Facebook, Instagram, just sharing some fun posts, things that are going on, some little maybe behind the scenes work as we work through Illuminated Crosses. Obviously our shop will stay open. There's no closing of that. The website's still gonna stay open. There's no change there. I'm always gonna be there, just an email away. You guys know at this email address, you can always reach me directly. It's me, I promise. There's no secretary or anybody else. No one's been outsourced to reach out or communicate. It's a direct line to me, which is nice. I think sometimes when you have a specific question or you want to reach out, you can actually, talk to a human being. So we could do that. There's the Illuminating Crosses project. There's also a partnership project that I'm starting to explore that I'm really excited about to share with you guys. So there are still things in the works. It's just going to be maybe stretched out a little bit more. And to be honest, you've probably felt that this year. We haven't had a pattern come out in a few months. I think our last one was those trees napkins. I'll put the link up here if you haven't made those. They're super fun. It's a free pattern for Christmas, which, oh my gosh, you guys, is like just a couple months away. I cannot believe it. So, we'll still be here. Things are not going to be changing that much, but you will see maybe a little bit of a slowdown as like I said, I work through the sabbatical and I work through just a little bit of a break to rebalance life. I think all of us have had those moments in lives, and gosh, it's been, like I said, 10 years since I started Faith in Fabric and been doing this. After 10 years, it's time to just shift and change things a little bit to just the position we are in life, to where we've all aged to just some of the different things that we're facing each day. Most of all, I want to say thank you to you. Thank you for your support these past 10 years. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for journeying this journey with me. It sounds silly when people say it and it's overused, but in all honesty, I couldn't have done this without you. Like I said, I was so touched and blown away by how many of you responded to my email about which pattern do you like better? Do you like this one or this one? I was thinking, I get a small handful. I was not expecting hundreds of responses. And it wasn't just your response on the cross. It was, hey, we're praying that you find your necklace, or, oh my gosh, please give yourself grace as you work through dealing with COVID. My son had it, I had it, my husband has it. You guys just touch my heart every time you reach out. And so I want you to know how special that is to me and how important, this business and all of you are to me as well. So stay connected, stay in touch, stay healthy. Happy sewing to all of you, and we will continue to be in touch. Take care.